So RuneScape had a Necromancy update?
They will spread my influence to the world above. You will be the key to my victory. I will teach you.
Oh, we gotta check this out. So I got my Necromancy all the way up to level 30. And this skill is kind of weird. So let's go over some of it. Now, there's a lot of skills in RuneScape. This is the 29th skill. They've added quite a bit since I played back in the day. You know, originally, I think I played all the way through to summoning, and then I kind of took a long break. So obviously, I leveled up all the other skills. I've been working on it, right? But the thing with this skill is it feels like they've added a lot into Necromancy for some reason when stuff could have just been a part of the other skills. Like, this is a combat skill for one, but it also involves crafting and some ritualistic stuff, which it all ties into the theme of Necromancy. I guess that's how they're going to explain it, but let's take a look at the combat here. So with the combat, you have Necromancy gear, just like you have ranged and melee and magic gear. You have Necromancy weapons that go with this. Let's go attack something. So this is kind of like the basics for those of you that haven't played RuneScape 3. Now you have like abilities that go on your action bar, and as you build up your adrenaline, you have bigger abilities to use. Necromancy doesn't have a resource necessarily. It's more laid back. Now there are some runes and stuff, we'll get into that, but as you see, I'm fighting these guys. I'm just auto attacking. That's kind of back to old style RuneScape combat in a way. You can also go in here and conjure a skeleton warrior, so let's do that. Boom, there we go. This is my skeleton. He's here to help me. We're just fighting all these ghosts. That's great. But in order to summon him, I need to use ectoplasm. That's a resource you see right here. I have 3 of them in the bag. You get those from doing rituals. So this is the combat. You know, you used to have your holy trinity, your combat triangle in RuneScape, where you had your mages, your ranged, your melee. Melee was good against ranged. Ranged was good against mages. Mages were good against melee. That's how it worked. This is outside of that. I guess it's all neutral, so a necromancer is never going to have the advantages that the other classes would have, but you know, they're not going to have the weaknesses either. So it's just an equalizer. So you have this. The combat's pretty straightforward. You can summon your guy. There's a talent tree system involved with this too. So that's basically how the combat works. Let's go ahead back up to the city of and I'll show you how the rituals work in some of the other parts of Necromancy. Now, you're brought here because you go to Draenor, you go to the Office of Death, and when you're going to go into this strange portal that's appeared, a sword comes out and kills you, and then you're brought here, and you find out, oh, you know, this is the magical city of It's in the underworld, and there's this necromancer dude, and he wants to like take over the world and upset the balance of life and death, and you gotta get to a high level and defeat him. I guess he's a boss in the game you can fight, but you have to be pretty high. I think they recommended combat level 110, so I could try to fight him. We'll see. Maybe I'll do a video on that later. I don't know. The thing is, though, you get here and you have all of this necromancy stuff. There's a whole city, and as you level it, there will be people that kind of appear throughout the city, and it will come back to life as you're gathering the souls of everyone you've killed, and you know, it's a little bit out there. Okay, so this is your ritual site, right? This is the other portion of Necromancy where it starts to get really complicated really fast, so just try to follow along with me. So right now you have your auto attack based combat. You can summon your skeletal warrior with the use of this ectoplasm that you get from doing rituals here at this site, okay? While you're fighting, you'll gain XP that you can use for this talent tree. So I have 1 talent point. I have that point unlocked. As you're doing rituals, you add souls to this vessel, and you're powering it up and powering it up. So right now I have 1 talent point and 28 of these souls. In order to get the next one, I need 50 souls in the vessel, and I need 1 talent point. So I got that, but I'm just not quite there yet. As I fight in combat, this bar will fill up, and then I'll gain another talent point. So I need to do a lot more rituals so that I can use these talents as I unlock them, okay? That's part of it. This is where it gets weird, where they're adding so much into this one skill, which it's fine, but it helps with the lore of everything. I mean, the old ways of RuneScape were you craft your runes with rune crafting, and then you use them for magic, and you can, use your crafting to make a staff and enchant it with magic, and everything was tied together, not just all in one skill. Like with woodcutting, you didn't chop the tree down and then craft it into a bow and then burn it. They were split up over a number of different skills. So let's look at this pedestal here. We're going to place a focus pedestal. So if we go here, you can see there's a few things you can do. You can offer bones or different mementos, and basically if you draw these glyphs on the ground, you'll get Necromancy XP, you'll add a soul to the well, and you'll get ectoplasm. Great, that's how you get your ectoplasm. Then, if you want to do this weak necroplasm to lesser necroplasm, you can do that. Basically making a more powerful necroplasm. You get some XP for that, and you get ectoplasm. Lesser essence. This is going back to the weirder side of this, where you're rune crafting with necromancy. So maybe this is all opposed to Guthix, like the polar opposite to Guthix. You have him who made the regular rune crafting altars, and you had the necromancers who made their own. So already we're looking at life and death. As you level up, you get like these little comments from the first necromancer. So there is a lot of story tied into this skill too, which makes it different than other skills. So you can basically do this ritual, and you put in 200 pure essence, and then you make it like a rune crafting conversion site. You get these different impure essences here, and then you can take them over to your necromancy rune crafting altar. Now that's over on the northeast side of the city of and you can convert these. So right now I have spirits of rune and I have spirits of bone. I think the other ones are, there's like, it's not, trying to think of the term. There's flesh, bone, spirit, and one other one. Let's skip ahead here. Okay, so you run all the way to the northeast side, and there's this portal here. So you can run into this dark portal, and then this is where you can craft all your runes. So you have your flesh altar, you have your bone altar, spirit altar, and miasma altar. So I don't know what that is, if it's like supposed to be mucus or whatever, but that one's pretty gross. Flesh. Right now I need more bone, because with this there's spells you could craft, use too. So I have my lesser bone shield, which requires that I use 5 of my spirit runes and 5 of my bone runes. So you can see there I have 1 charge of the bone shield on. You can click it and that'll cast a spell. So already rune crafting, using magic, combat, summoning, and you're doing rituals, which they all feel like they could fit into other skills. Let's go step out here. We'll go back through the dark portal, and I'll show you some of the other stuff. So then on top of all of that, you have necroplasm, you have ritual candles, you have ghostly ink, all these different resources that go along with the crafting of this skill. So with the necroplasm, you can use it to make different ghostly inks. You can use them to make ritual candles, and that's kind of what's all on the ground here. As you level up, you unlock more of these areas. You can brush the dust off, and then you can use them. So you have to have 4 different candles, and you can add these different elements as you go. So with these elements, they're actually called glyphs, you can go here and you need to have the correct ones on there. But if you have any extra spaces, you can do like a multiplier or something that makes it more effective. So if you go to alteration glyphs, I just unlocked this multiply times 1. If you do this, it's going to give you 20% ritual output and 20% soul attraction. So as the soul attraction goes up, you get, it's like these other ghosts that appear as you're channeling the ritual, and different things will light up, and you can click on those to get bonus XP. And basically, you set up your ritual, you stand on this little skull platform, and then it goes. Right? If you want to have a bunch more stuff in the pedestal, you could go put it in the storage focus, and when you're done, if you want to channel a whole bunch, you could come over here and open the ritual chest. And that's everything with necromancy. It's very complicated. There's a lot to it. I'm not sure why they did this. I didn't know if this was meant to be an elite skill, because it certainly has the vibe of like, I require the knowledge of all these other skills to do this, but then it doesn't really have that same requirement. I don't know. Maybe it's the old RuneScape player in me, but I would rather have this just been a combat skill with a couple little things peppered in there. Like maybe if you want me to do just the necroplasm and the ghostly ink and the candles, that's fine. But even the candles could maybe go in crafting or prayer or something. And then have the other skills get like an expansion pack. Like rune crafting now has the necromancy runes included, and you can have them at your different levels. And I don't know. That's just my thoughts. I don't mind necromancy. It's cool. I like the basic idea behind it, and it's cool how they're tying the story into it, but it's very complicated for a new skill, and we're kind of moving in a new direction with these skills where it's not just wood chopping and fire making, and they're adding layers. And I guess the other skills have grown over the years too. Like now when you go smithing, there's a bunch of different ways to do that, and smithing got the whole rework. And I don't know. Let me know what you think. I've done a couple of the quest lines. They're pretty cool so far. They've had, I think it's like 9 different quests that are up with this new update. So you can level up this skill. You can see the whole undead side of RuneScape, and then if you get all the way to the end and you want to fight the big boss that started this whole skill off, you can. So let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Let me know if this update is going to make you go back and try RuneScape 3. I have membership now because I got all the way up to level 20 for free, and I wanted to try that first quest, so I went and got membership here for 14 days, but some of the money I had in game. So I don't know. Check it out. It's good. I would recommend it. This is a good game. It looks pretty boring from an outsider's point of view, but once you play and get your hands on it and you start actually working on leveling up these skills, you kind of get the appeal. So I'm out. Until next time, I'll see you later. This video is brought to you by your support on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/GrouchyGus94 to help support the channel.